welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades Cheesesteaks. Took a bit of a week and a half, 2-week hiatus, but we're back, refreshed. Got myself, Dakota, got Tim, of course, and joining us today is Tyrell, who's no stranger to podcasts. He had his own podcast for a little bit. We won't get into that, but how you guys doing
experience today? On here, hanging in there, just doing okay,
Still broadcasting from the kitchen, I see.
Yeah, it's all right. I found my permanent home, I think, for now for the podcast life, but doing good. I mean, I'm doing that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, majority of my free time gets devoted to football when the season's going on. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of trying to adjust into that life now. Like, Sundays have just been football for now. Now I have Sundays free. It's weird.
It is weird.
What do you do when there's no football to watch?
Watch the other football, I guess.
We got into a little bit. We'll see. But that's all right. But we're getting into the NBA stuff because that's where the true transition's really made, Mark. I've got in all on the NBA bandwagon, back into it, locking myself in. I had a little cram session for our podcast to catch myself up on the season.
Do they broadcast NBA games over there in London?
Nah, I just do the NBA Game Pass, just like the NFL does.
Gotcha.
I waited. It was really expensive. It's this is ridiculous. This is 3 times the price of football, and half these teams I don't even want to watch. So they the last month they give you the whole season for a much cheaper price. So that's what we did. We held out for the cheap stuff.
Okay, interesting. What do they usually have on TV? Just soccer?
Yeah, pretty much. Soccer, cricket. Cricket's
Rugby.
Pretty big over here. Rugby, yeah.
Huh.
It's not my cup of tea, but someone's cup of tea.
All right. Well, main focus of the episode will be some NBA discussions. We got about 20 games or so left.
Just about.
Which is wild because the All-Star weekend just happened. But before that, just real quick on some NFL stuff. We do have Combine. The NFL Combine is this weekend, which I completely forgot about. But that's cool. They had Howie and Sirianni are both there, and the media was asking them questions about Jalen Hurts, of course, and they both said, hey, look, he's our guy. He's going to be the starter. Because they asked him about Deshaun Watson. He's like, Jalen Hurts is my quarterback. So I guess that's a good reassurance. It could be complete bullshit, but take his word for now. Tyrell, I don't know what your Giants are doing at the Combine. Hopefully another quarterback.
I'll be honest. I don't personally know if the QB is what we need to adjust. I've been begging and pleading over Twitter for them to address the offensive line and our defensive backs. I feel those are
you and their DMs,
bruh. At this point, me and Gettleman got a close relationship.
Okay,
but
I feel I can put that on a loop. Just the Giants need to improve their offensive line and it played it at any point of the year the last decade, and it would have been accurate.
Oh yeah,
it's been an ongoing problem that's never been
it's a reoccurring issue at this point, and I don't think they've done well with the draft up until this point. So I'm not exactly optimistic, but we'll see what they do. I think it's pretty much a free for all because we're kind of in a dumpster fire at the moment with our record, and ever since the boating incident. We haven't had much success.
Yes.
So
the infamous boating picture when everything went downhill.
11-5 that season, and then have barely scraped together 10 wins in the last 3 or 4 seasons. So
not ideal.
We'll see though. We'll see.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that
it's an exciting time. Exciting time for the bad teams, though. This is the bad team Super Bowl.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, that's honestly, I think I might have touched on this another episode, but I just find it so funny that AJ Green literally stuck with the Bengals for 10 years, and then the 1 year he leaves, they go to the Super Bowl.
That's tragic.
Yeah, it is tragic.
It's so tragic.
Things happen.
But that's about nothing much in the NFL going on. Like I said, Combine coming up, and then I guess three weeks or so we'll have free agency. So then. That's when the NFL starts picking up again. We have that 1 month layover from the Super Bowl, and then shit gets fired up again. So looking forward to that. Moving on, Tim, did you want to touch on the MLB lockout at all? Because that is a ongoing debacle.
Yeah, I think me and you both don't pride ourselves on being baseball experts. I think that's our last words. I like to follow along. I root for the Phillies, get involved, but I gotta say, like these lockout issues with the baseball, I feel like have just constantly been a theme for recently. Like even remember when COVID was coming around, they were just the one league that could not get it together on whether they were going to have a season. They were constantly fighting each other. And I got to take credit for, I saw a quote from Jeff Passan from ESPN that I thought was actually pretty, hit it on the head kind of thing. And he's like, if you take 1,200 MLB players and take them out of baseball and just replace them with just other people, other players, just get them minor leagues, whatever, basically just fill-ins, you would notice a big drop-off in the quality of the sport. But if you took the 30, owners and just replaced them with 30 businessmen, you probably wouldn't see a big jump off. They would probably stay the same. And then I was thinking, honestly, can you name me, for both of you, can you name me 5 Major League Baseball owners?
No.
I think I can name like 2. To be honest with you.
I think I recently saw that Derek Jeter was like the CEO of a team or something like that.
And he had enough of that.
He just stepped down from the Marlins. And I had no idea that he was even in that role. But as far as ownership, no.
I was thinking, because I really could not name an owner. I mean, I know the Phillies, of course, but if I wasn't a Phillies fan, would not know John Milton. And you think, why do they constantly have these problems between owners and players? And the owners really just don't even bring anything to the table. Jerry Jones, hate the guy, but you can't say he isn't a huge part of what the Cowboys are and the success they bring. Mark Cuban, another. Right. I think the Mavericks, I think Mark Cuban. I think the Cowboys, I think Jerry Jones. Robert Kraft has been influential in owning the Patriots. The Rooney team is synonymous with football and the Steelers.
Yeah.
Every sport you can look at, you have these owners that are the pioneers of the league that are spearheading change and improvement. And in baseball, you just don't hear any of that. It's just the same game over and over again. And owners are very inactive. But yet this is the league where the owners and the players just can't get anything done. And it's just mind-boggling to me that they have so many issues. It just, for a sport that never changes, it's pretty much the same game as it's been for years. The analytics changed a little bit, but I don't understand why it's such a disconnect. It's just confusing.
Plus, they have enough problems with trying to get more money because no one wants to sit there and watch a baseball game for 3 hours anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about they're doing the DH thing in both leagues. That's a start. But I mean, maybe shorten the season, less games, or 7 innings instead of 9, or.
Well, that's the thing. It's a sport that's declining that needs to change. But how do you honestly think they're going to change? They can't even agree to get a season going. There's no way you're going to get changed. The players and the owners just can't get along to get the season going, let alone get any change in it.
Because the owners are all, trying to get as many pennies out of it as they can. I heard they went to 2 a.m. with the players, and the players looked at the offer and they're like, no, this is crap. We're not signing this. So.
I don't really know I guess the owners, of course, have the leverage of owning the team in the league pretty much, but I don't understand. The situation doesn't seem like it's going to get solved at any point or, realistically anytime soon. And I just don't know what the end goal is there. It's just very confusing. I guess we'll wait and see. I haven't been glued to the TV about the lockout. This is just mostly what I'm hearing in, the headlines and the snippets. But even just from that, as an outside person looking in, it just doesn't seem like it's going to get better anytime soon.
No, and it would have been spring training right now. So they're already super behind. But
it's just dumb. You would think a sport on the decline would do anything to get their league going. But
here
we are.
It's kind of why I feel like maybe it was different because I wasn't paying attention to the off TV stuff when I was a kid. But I feel like we've gone through a pretty crazy amount of lockouts through sports. We had the NFL lockout, which was a pretty big deal. The NBA's had a lockout. MLB is twice now they've had a lockout. NHL had a lockout. This is
constantly a problem.
Yeah. No. Hopefully it's not a trend, but.
Well, I think we can leave the depressing stuff to the end about how there's no sports. Let's get to the good, happy stuff, because I'm not going to lie. I am been on cloud 9 ever since the beard showed up, and I'm not talking about your Dakota. But we'll kick it off. We'll let the guests start us off on NBA thoughts. Thoughts around the league, thoughts about the Sixers. I think that's what everyone in town's all hyped up about. It's kind of I think the Sixers and the James Harden trade kind of took the torch away from the Eagles draft hype, even though they have all the draft picks. But it's exciting time. It's exciting time.
Yeah, and Tyrell is unfortunately not a Sixers fan. He's a Nuggets fan. But but he can. Yeah, what is that? Is that Jamal Murray injured? Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray, baby, you already know how to represent.
I like it. To be fair, hey, but my preseason prediction, I picked the Nuggets. I picked the Nuggets to win the West.
Okay.
I don't know if I still feel that confident, but they were my pick going into the year. I love the team mixture.
Yeah.
Well, how are your Nuggets?
I would say, I mean, to touch on Dakota's point, I might not be a Philly fan, but I'm not exactly a Philly hater either. Like I'm one of those fans that can, talk about the sport in a pretty unbiased way.
Sure.
But to touch on the Nuggets, I mean, Nuggets are doing well right now, coming off a 10-game win streak. DeMarcus Cousins is playing pretty well for us. Nikola Jokic, currently, top 3 right now in MVP talks. So team is doing well given the injuries as well. I saw some headlines the other day. Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray could be ready to go for the postseason, which is exciting news, but I think it's also a toss-up. You wonder how they're going to come back, and if they're going to come back, looking the way they did when, we made that run in the bubble. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm optimistic. I'll say that. I'm optimistic.
What was the realistic timeline for? I know Murray's been out. He had toward the ACL. I thought he would be back for the playoffs. I thought that was pretty much what the goal was.
Right. I think the goal was to get him ready for the postseason. Mike Malone, every time that he's been interviewed, has always said we're in no rush. He has confidence in the team to still get wins and still get us to where we want to be, and contending for a playoff spot. Which is, I completely agree. I wasn't too sure about that when we first started the season. Just having Murray out that long, and of course Michael Porter Jr. after signing this huge contract with the Supermax and then going down as well, wasn't too excited for that, or was very unsure, I should say, of whether he was going to be back this season. But it's good to hear that they're working towards getting them back, and especially ready for the postseason, which I think is going to be a smart idea. I think that this is the type of squad. We got a lot of young talent that if you're going to try to make a push, you might as well make the push now. We're not necessarily in any type of rebuild mode or anything like that. Maybe one piece away, but I think this is a championship caliber team.
I mean, listen, like I said, I took him before the season. I really liked the way, you had the reigning MVP, you have offensive shooting power in Murray and Michael Porter. And I like the way this team was built. They had like all the bits and bobs, all the bench depth, the needed wings players, just the role guys that you needed.
And the role guys step up well too. I like seeing, Will Barton will have a couple games where he'll drop a 30 piece,
what I like and Aaron Gordon. I like the pickup of Aaron Gordon last. He gave you like that toughness, that like defensive rebounding pressure. Because Jokic doesn't really give you that. He's too skilled offensively, I feel like, to be worried about on the defensive side. And I saw him a couple times just not look like he was ever interested in playing defense.
And I also think that the Gordon move was also good for us as well. No offense to Millsap, I don't think he was necessarily that guy for us.
He's on the later stage of his career anyway. He's on the way.
Definitely think they needed to address that position and fill it somewhere else. So
I will say I love that Gordon, when he got traded to Denver, changed his number to 50, and I think the story was because when he lost the dunk contest, when Dwayne Wade gave him like the 8 or whatever it was, but. Yeah, Tim, I'm looking at the post now from October when we did our predictions. You had the Nets over the Nuggets in the finals, so
it's true.
Everybody had the Nets in the finals except for me. So big brain over here.
Oh yeah, sorry. This guy. We'll see. Hey, listen, I was actually getting a little wavery. I'm definitely taking a new team in the East when we do our picks for the championship. I was a little wavery on the Nuggets, but you know what? Tyrell sold me. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with them. The Nuggets taking the West. Okay. I'm sticking with it. Listen, I told you going into the season they were my team. I was with them from the beginning, and that was even. I knew the injuries. I think that time Porter wasn't hurt, but obviously Murray was. But if you can bring them back, they're a veteran team. They don't need, to get right. I don't think the seeding's too big of a deal with them. They can play with anyone. They still got the former MVP. I think they're in a good spot. I still think they're in a good spot.
All right. Well, then let's just do right off the rip since we got a 20-game cushion before the playoffs start. Who are your finals matchup right now? Because I said Suns over Bucks originally, and I'm going to stick with that because obviously the Suns have been pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're so bland. You picked the finals matchup from last year. Stick with your your
how's
preseason
that bland?
pick. That's the most vanilla chicken noodle soup I've ever heard.
Oh, there's no vanilla in chicken noodle soup. That's gross.
Second of all, your pale ass, boring chicken noodle soup probably is. You take the championship prediction from last year, run with it.
Listen. So we had 4 people on when we did it. Or actually, no, we had 3 because you couldn't make it. But you still got your picks in. Nick, Nick was on. He had Lakers over Nets, which that's not looking too good either. And then James, who Tyrell and I both went to college with, he was on and he picked the Nets over the Lakers as well. That looks even worse because I don't think the Nets are winning. But Nick's actually looks worse because he said the Lakers are going to win. So,
the Lakers are stressful to watch right now. That's
you know what, Anthony Davis, for how great he is, he's only going to be recognized for sweatpants. Like he's just
sweatpants.
At the end of his career, he's going to have more games in sweatpants than basketball shorts.
Honestly,
I feel like last year it was like the beginning of the joke. Like everyone started busting him because it has been a trend. Now it's just like you've got to be kidding me, buddy. Like every other week,
he just can't. He can't stay healthy, and I think it's a hot take a little bit, but I stand by it. I honestly think Anthony Davis peaked in the bubble. I think that's probably the best we're going to see him in his career, and I don't think it's really up for him at this point.
This guy's he's gonna age worse than expired milk. Like he's 28 already, and the guy can't
Tyrell knows about expired milk.
Relax yourself. We don't. This podcast is about sports, not our housing situation in college.
You guys seem like, you seem like you would be an apartment with spilled milk. I can picture or spoiled milk. You know what? I can picture your fridge. A half rack of natty, 3 eggs, spoiled milk.
Oh, we had some class. We got Yingling.
What's the condiment of choice? Like there's some obscure condiments that just never expire. What would like mustard, hot sauce, or something?
Definitely hot sauce. There was a lot of
hot sauce. Yeah, so we'll throw a couple bottles of hot sauce.
Little sriracha.
Yeah. And then someone's leftovers from you don't know who, you don't know where, you don't know when.
Stale
just
bread.
In there because you put bread in the fridge. Who puts the bread in the fridge?
I mean, the freezer if you're saving it, but we're getting a little off topic here.
Very.
Stale,
I don't know what stale refrigerator items have to do with your finals pick, but Tyrell, let's start with you. Who do you got?
So obviously Nuggets fan. I'm in here wearing the Nuggets jersey, of course. So if completely healthy, I think that the Nuggets will upset your favorite team. I think that's obviously going to be my favorite to win the championship. But pending if the season were to end today and we went to the playoffs, I got my money on Golden State taking it out of the West. I just think that fully as a team, they're ridiculous to watch. Honestly, even if Steph is not having a great shooting game, you still have too many weapons. Klay Thompson is back and he's been looking good. He's only going to get more healthy. I'm trying to stay optimistic for him. You got Kuminga and a bunch of other young guys that are playing really good basketball. Jordan Poole is shooting the ball incredibly well. And then, you have this center who, for some odd reason, I'm blanking on his name right now, and I always do this.
Wiseman?
Yes, Wiseman. And he is, once he's back in the rotation and he gives them some real interior presence, that's going to be a scary team. Yeah. That's going to be a very scary team. So I take them winning it all. But I'll be polite since I'm on a Philly podcast. I'd say that y'all could still make it to the game though. I'll give it to y'all. Y'all can make it to the game. I don't think you win it. But y'all
I'm sorry, you must have missed the show on the Wells Fargo. Don't worry, they play tonight. You can catch it. 'Cause, man, things look beautiful over here. I'll say, you know what? I was thinking this before we got on. I was like, I knew I took the Nuggets. No, the Nuggets have been, they're struggling. They still got guys out. The Warriors look incredible, and you're right. I think defensively, once Wiseman's in there and you got that big guy down low, Draymond was a stud defensively, and then Andrew Wiggins who just came out of the renaissance for him. The rebounds was just incredible.
Yep.
But defensively, that's going to be a
Julius
problem.
Randle
And then when
year.
you factor in all that shooting around them, I do think the Warriors are a team to watch out for. But with that said, you gave me the good vibes about Denver. I picked them preseason. I'm sticking with them. Sticking with them. I'm mostly sticking with them because I'm getting rid of my choice from the Eastern Conference preseason. And this is my moment. I had to go to clear some time. I thought you paid for the extra extension on Zoom. Because, man, let me tell you how good them Philadelphia 76ers look now that James Harden is in the picture. This duo of him and Joel Embiid are just a nightmare. They're both going to average, I think, 35 points a game. They're probably going to get 30 free throws a game themselves.
Yeah.
Draw a foul on 100.
New York was fouling them like crazy on Sunday.
New York had both their centers foul out by like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like, what were you going to do after that? There was no way you were going to win a game when you don't have a center on the team and Joel Embiid is just destroying your roster.
Yeah.
It's just, everything looks so beautiful. He's a great match with Embiid. He's a great match with Maxey. Maxey is so explosive now that he doesn't have the ball in his hands all the time. He just, I think, noticeably explosive, especially on the fast break. A fast break with Tyrese Maxey is legit. He doesn't have to chase the ball or find the ball. He just runs down court. And that guy's got some 4.40 speed.
Oh, yeah.
My only criticism is Tobias Harris looks terrific, but now he's your fourth scorer on your team, so I think he can figure it out and become your fourth option. I mean, Tobias Harris, a fourth option. That's no one's complaining about that.
I'm holding out hope he'll get reintegrated into the lineup and be actually productive. But I will say the defense definitely looks like it's taken a bit of a hit. But
yeah, of course. But listen, you sacrificed that. What did you really give up defense? Seth Curry wasn't playing defense. Drummond, gave you good minutes when Embiid was out. But
Drummond wasn't going to start here, obviously, but he's been nice over with the Nets so far.
Yeah, but I mean, he was having a good season. He's a good player and perfect for splitting time with Embiid, but worthy sacrifice to get James Harden because James Harden and Joel Embiid are the best duo in the NBA right now.
Also, because realistically,
they fit so well together. They're two teams that need to be double teamed at each. They get two guys that need to be double teamed at any moment, and you just can't do it. It's too much.
What was it? Embiid the other day, I think it was the first game, he like low key called out Ben Simmons because he was like, "Oh, I've never gotten such open passes before."
It was nothing low key about that.
Yeah, you're right.
It was a full blown at it's just my goodness.
After he posted the REP Bozo meme, nothing's low key anymore. He made it very clear. Speaking of that clown, I was going to try to get to the episode without that clown's name coming in because I'm so moved past him. He's not even like an ex you wish, horrible things to or wish the worst. He's just an ex that I don't want to hear their name, give them a thought of my day because they're out of my life and I never want to see them again or have to see them again. That clown who is now not, after being he's like 26, he's been working out every day since he's been out with his mental issues. Is now 2 weeks away from playing because his conditioning isn't right.
He's got back soreness. Ow.
And back soreness from doing what? You've been sitting on your couch for 3 months now. Just
scared.
Embarrassing.
He doesn't want to come to
so
Philly.
Scared. I really thought he was going to play. I really thought he was going to play that game on the 10th or 11th, whenever it is.
Yeah, the time.
He's a clown. He's a clown. Scared.
I won't share my opinions on Ben Simmons because we'll be here all night and Dakota knows that.
It's true.
But I think in reality, it's probably the best possible trade that either team was going to get. And I think that it addressed both issues and concerns that both teams were having. It was basically just like, you have your problem, we have our problem, let's just switch and we'll be happy from there.
Yeah.
So I think in retrospect, it's best case scenario. I'll speak a little bit on the Philly thing. Obviously, team looks good right now. Embiid is putting up MVP-like numbers and performances. Oh, yeah. Dude is an absolute animal. Respect him a lot, even though obviously Denver. So I'm Jokic, but I think it'll be interesting to see how it happens down the line. Because my main issue with it is Harden. I think that he's really good when he wants to be somewhere. Like when he first got to Houston, animal, absolute animal. When he first got to Brooklyn, was playing really, really well. But he has this really bad habit of getting disinterested, and then he just doesn't try. Like, he loses all that effort, and then that results in the trade. I hope that, maybe it's going to be different in Philly, because he's starting to give me Russell Westbrook vibes, where it's just every team he goes to, it just doesn't work out. Yeah. So hopefully this is a landing spot. I saw some posts, or I know I was talking to some other people about, when Harden originally wanted to leave Houston, he wanted to be in Philly then, and then didn't. And there were some things going on with, Kyrie Irving wanted him to come, or, Durant wanted him to come to the team. And so it was like, okay, let's put this team together in Brooklyn. But, his heart wasn't too into it. So hopefully his heart's in Philly. I think if it is, then it's going to be dangerous.
You know what? I think Harden kind of gets this bad rep. I have heard what Tyrell said from a couple other people, and listen, I mean, he clearly, when he wants to get traded, he clearly puts zero effort out on the court. It makes it very clear, I want to get traded. But I mean, nowadays, pretty much every superstar that wants to get traded does it. We're just surprised to see if someone do it twice in the span of a year and a half, pretty much. Mm-hmm. But I think, I mean, I believe when he said he wanted to leave, he wanted to go to Philly. I mean, the Rockets were on a rebuild. I think the organization made it clear that we're going to go to a full rebuild. They tried everything. He was there when, when he basically built the first original core when he got traded from the Thunder. Then he was there with Chris Paul. Then he was there with Russell. John Wall came in for a little bit. Like, he tried many times. Then he just ultimately, the franchise did the life cycle. They tried to compete. They did what they could. Then they started falling off. Time for the rebuild. Yeah. The Nets was just a shit show. Mostly I would have to think that this Kyrie Irving thing isn't what he signed up for. He was signing up to go play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, not Kyrie Irving, once in a week.
Well, they played, 13 or 16 games together, which is mind-blowing. 13.
Yeah, I mean, the injuries and stuff you can't predict. Yeah. But I mean, I can't imagine who would want to play
expensive 13 games.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I think he's in a situation he wants to be in. And I think he's also in the point of his career where he's got this criticism. Now a lot of people are getting on him. He's like, man, you're just, nothing in the playoffs. You got this bad attitude. You quit on your teams, blah, 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 blah. I think this is a big stop for him. And I mean, he's with his boy Murray. Embiid's the best player he's ever had as a teammate.
Yeah.
I think the situation's perfect. I mean, when he got to the Sixers, I mean, they were my favorites in the East. I'm picking them to go to the finals now. I think that they fit so well. It just makes so much sense. I think that you're going to get the best out of Harden. I think Harden is in this point in his role where he just wants to win and isn't necessarily looking for another trade. I think he's looking to settle down. It's a good spot for him and just go out there and try to compete.
I would love to put the Sixers in the finals again, but I'm just going to stick with mine just to
vanilla chicken noodle soup over here.
Just to
plain bland.
Just to keep my vanilla chicken soup.
So Dakota, who for you hits the shot in the corner against Philly to send them home?
You watch your mouth first of all.
Who is that player for you? They play for the Bucks. Is it Kyrie on an away game? Like who?
That would crush me.
I would.
No.
Ben Simmons hits the game-winning three.
Ben Simmons.
Philly's putting that vaccine mandate in.
The city would burn. No, everyone would riot. Yeah. No, I think I agree. I think Nuggets and Warriors and the Suns are really going to be that top three. This is what I think. I forget who I was telling this. It might have been you, Tyrell, or maybe it was to you, Tim. But I really think the Warriors are a year away from being back to their peak, like back to when they were like the, without a doubt, best team in the league. Because that gives another year for Clay to keep rehabbing, keep getting healthier, gives them time to bring in more players. But I think the Warriors will probably make it to the West Championship, excuse me, and then I just still think the Suns get it done. But East, I'll take Sixers Bucks. Let's say the Bucks beat the Nets in the matchup before that, another rematch. But
listen, the Bucks were never a team I was afraid of. I feel like the Sixers have had their number since Giannis has been there. We just have never been able to match up with them in the playoffs. That's never happened. I've liked the matchup against the Bucks. I think I'm confident if the Sixers play them in the playoffs. The think the West team that scares me. I mean, Brooklyn doesn't really scare me. That team just seems like a disaster. Like you have no idea what's going on with Kyrie Irving.
I mean, like
Tyrell,
not scary when he's not on a super team. Like I don't know what it is.
Okay, well, I don't know about that. I'm not going that far. I'm still very scared of Kevin Durant.
Well, to take it to the finals though by himself, like I don't think he's capable of taking a team by himself.
Did you see him last year? He nearly eliminated the Bucks by himself with James Harden on one leg and Kyrie Irving hurt.
But keyword was nearly, which means he didn't do it, which means my point is still valid.
I mean, no. Your point was KD is not.
Now you're drinking the chicken noodle soup.
No. Your point was KD's not scary on a super team, where KD almost knocked off the eventual champions by himself last year. I mean, listen. I don't know. Tyrell, you said it would the Sixers and the Nets just changed problems. They both got their problems out of the way. But Harden fits like a glove, and I think he improves the team a lot. I know you have this argument about the defense, the boarding, and all that will be a helpful thing. But at the end of the day, I don't think Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons are going to be a good match. Kyrie Irving needs the ball. Ben Simmons is useless without the ball. We've seen it many times before.
Useless with the ball.
I mean, sure, yeah. You could say you have Kyrie, who's an elite offensive point guard, and Ben, who's an elite defensive point guard, but it just isn't going to work offensively. The hack-a-Shaq thing is still very valid. It's still going to work. Yeah. I can't wait to see it happen when he's playing on another team.
Oh.
But that team, I just don't see putting it together. There's too much things going on. The whole Kyrie thing is still up in the air. Who knows how many games he's going to be allowed to play?
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing is that, New York still needs to make a decision as a state whether they're going to lift this mandate. And, once they do, what does that mean for, obviously that means Kyrie Irving comes back full time, which is, it's good for the Nets. I'll be the first to say it. It might be a hot take. I personally don't care for Kyrie Irving. I really don't. I think he's a very good role player, but I don't think he just doesn't have the leadership for me. So I think the job done. And I think he's got a little bit too much pride for his own good. But, we're not going to talk about Kyrie Irving. I could go for hours.
I hear you.
Yeah,
preach that. He's a distraction.
I think it was a good move for them because it addresses some concerns that they were having with Harden and his effort level. It addresses some of the defensive issues that they were having. I don't believe it'll be enough to get them all the way there, especially with Durant coming. Unless Durant comes back fully healthy, ready to go, and playing like he did at the very start of the season, it's not even going to be competitive.
I mean, you need Durant. I mean, Durant can carry the team. Did it nearly last year. But I mean, this team isn't built to just be carried by Durant. There's too many other big name players that need the ball to be helpful.
Yeah, and Kyrie will probably go down as one of the best ball handlers the league's ever seen. But like Tyrell was saying, he's a Robin, and he's Robin who can't mature enough to, become his own guy without Batman. Like that's who Kyrie. Yeah. LeBron was Kyrie's Batman, and he insisted that he didn't need a Batman. But clearly,
he thinks that he's Batman. He's not that guy.
And KD is the Joker, so they don't even match. But
look at you getting the superhero fan base all riled up.
There's a Batman movie coming out in a week apparently. So
I'll be there on Thursday.
Yeah, there you go.
I will be there tomorrow.
The new Batman is the guy from Twilight. I always forget his name.
Was it Robert Pattinson?
Or Pattinson, yes.
Okay.
But
once you start getting to the movies, I think we get to a little off on our NBA podcast. So
yeah, sorry. Let me reroute. I did want to
wrap it up on our MVP predictions.
MVP. I mean, Joel Embiid. I mean,
I've been gassing him up and Harden. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread with them two. Best combo since peanut butter and jelly. I'm definitely going my boy for MVP.
I will say, so we had, I'm looking back at it, I had Devin Booker. Like I said, I will change that to Joel Embiid. Nick had Kevin Durant. Meh. Yeah. You had Luka, Tim. And then James had Dame. So, I mean, I would have said Curry the first half of the year, but he's not. I don't want to say he fell off because that's inaccurate, but he kind of came back down to earth a little bit.
He's going through a slump.
Yeah. Whereas Embiid's been like
sure.
It
helps than last year. It helps his case. Yeah, it helps his case that Ben has been out all year, and like he's just. I think Embiid has thrived over just. I don't need him. Let me go ball. He wants to be a pain in the ass to stay home. Let him be. We're fine without him, and just let me ball.
Yeah, well, the Sixers have the best record in the league since what, or maybe in the East, because the Suns might have the best in the league since like just started January or something, or started December. But the Sixers, when Embiid and half the team was out with COVID, like you could feel the effects when Embiid wasn't on the court. And as soon as he got back in the fold and got healthy again, he's gotten his career point average per game up so high now that he's in the top 5 of current active players, including LeBron, James Harden, Steph, and I think I'll say either Dame or Durant, all average over like 25 points per game in their career. So it's like,
hey, listen, since Embiid's been on the team, we've noticed once he comes out, everything changes. Well, and that's not really going to be the case anymore offensively. Like James Harden, if Embiid sits, James Harden is going to run the offense just through himself. Where before it was basically putting Tobias, Seth Curry out there, just basically the starting lineup without Joel. And, because Ben was useless, he really couldn't run an offense. And you just have no worries. The offensive scoring will never stop. Embiid sits down, it doesn't matter. Harden's out there. Harden sits down, doesn't matter. Embiid's out there. It just will never stop.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't wait. Fire the cannons, the guns, the rifles, whatever we need to do to start the war. Let's go, baby. I'm locked in the playoffs.
No, we already have a war going on in another country. We don't need another war. But I will say, I think I was telling Tyrell about this the other night. You remember Dan Liebertard from Highly Questionable on ESPN, Tim?
Yeah, I definitely remember his name being pronounced different than Liebertard, but yeah.
Well, how do you pronounce it?
I'm blanking on the top of my head, but Liebertard definitely does not sound right.
That's how you say. And Tyrell's laughing because it sounds ridiculous, but Liebertard, I don't know. Horrible. All right, well, Dan from Highly Questionable. He was like, I forget. He has his own podcast now because he had a whole rift with ESPN. But he was basically like saying, he's like, I'm totally here for this, like, Ben Simmons hates the Sixers hate Ben Simmons hype, and Philly fans hate Ben Simmons and they want to, shit on him or whatever. And he's like, I love this like hatred brewing. It's like a war and I want to see more of it. And he said something about how like Philly fans are like terrible. And apparently on like Twitter and stuff, they were going after him. He's like, oh, these Philly fans, I said to him, I was like, they're not nice. And the Philly fans responded, we are nice. Fuck you. I'm like, yep, that's pretty on brand. Philadelphia gets very protective about themselves. It's the same thing when Gritty, remember when Gritty was announced? And everyone was like, oh, this guy, like Philly was like, oh, this guy, he looks terrible. He sucks. And then the rest of the nation was like, oh, yeah, this guy sucks. He's terrible. And Philly was like, no. Shut your fucking mouth. This is our guy. We like him. Philly's wild. It's a war zone. Not to bring war up again, but it's a very relevant topic.
Jesus, you're getting borderline on the political talk here.
We touched on
crossing the line too much. We're
touching on movies, expired food in the fridge, chicken noodle soup. We cover all the bases. Now I know on the last point, Tyrell wanted to touch on the whole LeBron wanting to play with his son if and when he makes the league.
Dang, I don't get my MVP pick.
Oh, did we skip over you? Yeah. That's crazy. Go ahead.
It's cool.
you just listen. Tim interrupts me all the time, so just feel free to just butt in.
I'll say it this way. I know. The top 3 right now is a toss up between Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid. I'll say, regardless, obviously Denver fan, I would love to see Jokic get it again. I think his numbers look great. But I can't hate on Embiid. I can't. Dude is a legit animal. He's very legit right now. I'm praying for his health because I know that he's struggled with it in the past. So I really would hate to see that. I think that Embiid has had great seasons in the past, but the only thing that stopped him from that MVP status was the amount of games that he didn't or that he wasn't able to play. I think now he's kind of showcased that with enough time played, that he is that caliber of a player. So I'll say it this way. I think Embiid gets it because the awards committee doesn't like to do repeat performances. It's just not how they are. They would much rather see a different person win an award each year. It's weird, and that's a whole other topic. I'm not going to get into it. So I think Embiid gets MVP, but I would more so love to see Ja get MVP.
That would be cool.
That guy.
He is exciting. Yeah, he is exciting. He watching him play gives me the same feeling that Steph Curry gave me in 2015. You just get so excited to see him do anything. Like he's buy your ticket kind of player. He's buy your ticket kind of player. Like
time, if he's playing in your city, you're gonna buy a ticket now because you just want to see what he's gonna do. Like he's
so skilled too.
He's
so skilled. I would say my most improved player has got to be Ja. The jump from superstar he's made so quickly too, man. This is only what, year 2, year 3?
Year to year. He came into the league. He didn't have much of a jump shot. He was still pretty explosive, and and you saw a little bit of his talents. I believe he went to Murray State, and now it's just like he's got the jump shot. He's lethal. His speed is nice. He attacks the rim. He's not afraid of anybody. He plays with that chip on his shoulder. He's just extremely aggressive. I like him a lot.
You know what's crazy? The most can't miss prospect, I think, since LeBron went picked before him. And that's starting to look like a horrible pick. Mm-hmm. Zion getting picked before Ja seemed like elementary. Like that was easy. You were sprinting. The Pelicans were blessed to get Zion Williams. That's what I'm saying. And now you're 3 years in, you're like, wow, I think that they fucked up. They probably should have drafted Ja.
I can almost
look where the Grizzlies are, man. The Grizzlies are contending for the playoffs now. They got a superstar. Zion Williamson can't get off the fucking couch.
And I'll say this. I think it's twofold. I think one, he's probably doing that at this point in his career because his contract's up after this season. He wants to get out of New Orleans for whatever reason.
Baffling to me. Baffling. The guy's played maybe not even a full season, and he's already demanding trades. It's just baffling.
That's my thoughts. And I hate to bring it up because I know I got Philly in the room, but it kind of reminds me of another draft where,
oh well, wait a minute. I don't know about that.
Something's gonna go well, and then you could have got Tatum, and that.
Oh well, I mean,
that was the Ben. I know that. Wait,
no, that was false.
Yeah.
Listen, Fultz wasn't nearly as can't miss as Zion was. Zion was guaranteed just superstar, transcendent, like the shoe deal and everything.
He found the shrimp gumbo in New Orleans and put on about 80 pounds.
Yeah, weird thing, man. I like this guy basically played his rookie year, and that's about it. He has yet to play, I think, since then. And now he's out there basically just waiting to hit free agency or demand a trade or whatever. It's a weird time we live in sports. You play half a rookie season, and now you can just sit on the couch until your contract's up and go to a new team. And you have guys who are facing jail also demanding trades. It's just a very weird time in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks to be a Pelicans fan. I mean, first you had to deal with AD wanting out. Then you got him out. Then your return was okay. But then like half those players are gone now. And then you were so bad you got, Zion, and now he doesn't even want to play for you. It's just a revolving door.
Something's up there. I don't know how I don't understand how the Zion thing got so bad so quickly.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, like, this guy's what, 22, 21? How could he have this many injuries? Like, even Anthony Davis was more durable than this. I don't understand.
Was he injured in college? Didn't he miss the tournament? Or am I mistaken?
He played. He sprained his knee because his shoe blew out. That was a freak thing, though. This isn't. But now, like the guy gets hurt without playing. Now he's at that point where there's just setbacks. He has surgery. He's ready to come back, and then there's a setback. And you don't want to see setbacks. I feel like he's too young to be having setbacks. That's never a good sign. But I mean, and if I'm a Pelicans fan, seeing how awesome Ja is and how he's like arguably the most electrifying player in the NBA now, it just stinks. Mm-hmm. But going off that, let's wrap it up with the possible father-son duo in the future, which hats off to LeBron. LeBron's always knows what he's doing. Everything LeBron does is a move, that he's playing out and thought of. Can't fault the guy. Totally understand why you hype up your son. And I think with that statement, he pretty much guaranteed his son is going to be in the NBA. But what do you think, Tyrell? So I know that was our guest take.
I'll say this. I respect the king. Obviously, I think that he's absolutely phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I do agree. I think that this kind of solidifies his way of, really getting his son into the league, because it gets executives thinking.
Of course.
LeBron reaches the end of his contract soon with the Lakers, and you're thinking about potentially drafting Bronny James. I believe he's a junior, so about 2 years if he goes one and done.
Yeah.
But for me, it's kind of weird, because I've watched Bronny play, and I see him playing at Sierra Canyon, and he's talented. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if he's one and done talented. So I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, as an executive, are you getting Bronny just for the LeBron goodbye tour because you know that he's going to demand? At this point, he's already said it. It's not about the money. It's about what he wants to do at the end of his career.
Of course.
I'm sure if a team needed him to, whatever team in the league ends up drafting him, if a team needed LeBron to sign for the vet minimum just so that they would be fine in cap space, I'm sure he would do it. He's got plenty of money. He makes more money, his endorsement money, than anything that the NBA is giving him anyways.
Yeah.
My only thing is that given where Bronny currently stands talent-wise, and if he were to then go to college and be a one-and-doneer and go to the league, or if he takes a different route and just goes to the G League and then gets drafted and pulled up at some point, who is that team? And when that team that makes that decision to take Bronny goes, is that going to change LeBron's, opinion on where he goes? And the only reason why I say that is, in a typical draft, you have like someone who is going to be the worst team potentially is going to pick up Bronny, and then James would go there, and that kind of like makes sense. But what if you have the situation where a team like, someone doesn't want to take the chance on Bronny, they don't really care, and a team like Golden State or the Nets or the Sixers or the Bucks or the Heat or a high caliber team like that picks him up on some just like, whatever, fill out the bench. And then Bron is like, all right, what are you going to do? You're going to go play with Giannis? You're going to go play with Steph? Team up with KD in the same conference? I don't know.
I think he would.
I think he would. Don't get me wrong.
Get one more chance at a ring? He would never get a chance to get a ring.
You have so many LeBron haters out there that are going to talk about the legacy.
I think that's what he said. He's like, it's not about the money. It's not about he doesn't care. Yeah. I think my first two things that popped in my head when he said that, well, I was like, this is a smart move on his part. I mean, you're basically guaranteeing your son goes to the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was getting drafted and it guaranteed LeBron was coming to your team, I think a team would take a flyer on me just to guarantee LeBron. Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But my first two things that popped in my head, I was like, one, where does Bronny get drafted? Now that you have the LeBron guarantee, how high does that move him up the board? If you're a top 10 team, do you just throw away a draft pick just to bring in LeBron? Are you like maybe Sacramento or Detroit or, Orlando, who just want to sell out for a season and bring in LeBron? And then twofold, is LeBron actually going to go play for like the Kings or the Orlando Magic? Or is he going to go live in Detroit and go play for the Pistons? I'd be curious to see that. Is LeBron that dedicated to this that the Orlando Magic draft Bronny, he goes play for a team that's just garbage just to go play with his son? And at the same time, is there a team that's just going to go and draft him just because you're going to get LeBron James? And that's pretty much solely why you're doing it. Hey, good props to him. I mean, I always said that it kind of, in a smaller way, it kind of reminded me of Austin Rivers in the beginning of his career, because Austin Rivers in the beginning of his career I thought was like horrific. This guy stunk, couldn't do anything. But Doc was in the league and just kept him on his team on the Clippers most of the time, it seemed like. And then you eventually got to the point where he was like a 4-year, 5-year veteran in the NBA, made his game, and then it was like it wasn't this young kid who never played before. Now he's a veteran. He played in the league for 5 years, blah blah blah, and then he kind of got some contracts after that. Got away from Dad, but it was definitely Dad getting him in the league those first couple of years when he was brutal, and let him develop himself and get in the rhythm, become a professional. I think that helped him. I think that's what LeBron's ultimately trying to do with Bronny: get his foot in the door, get him set up in a position that after that you'll get an NBA career out of it.
I think I agree with like pretty much what you guys are saying. I think on the on the surface, it's like, oh, this is a really nice story. It's, family, like father son getting to play on the same professional team together. Like, it's cool, but like, kind of the same thing you guys are saying. Like, but are they going to draft Bronny for Bronny, or are they going to draft him just so they can have his dad? And like, how is that going to affect his career? Is that going to impact him for a good? Is it positive or negative? Like you guys said, depending on what team he goes to. When Bron retires, is Bronny still going to be a focal point on the team? Is he going to be a bench player? Is he going sent down to the G League? Like, what's going to happen? I think there's so many up in the air questions. And I'm pretty sure I heard the son under Bronny is actually better or more
Bryce.
Potentially. Yeah, Bryce is potentially more talented, right?
LeBron said that Bryce is the best shooter in the family.
And there you
straight
go.
Up.
Maybe he'll wait out till Bryce gets to the league. He'll be
how old?
It's
70.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you say that because, and I'll say it twofold. So one, I don't know if the NBA executives who are going to do the drafting are going to call LeBron's bluff, because you got to also realize we're still about 2 years out from Bronny even being ready to go through the one and done process and get into the league. That leaves LeBron at 39, maybe 40, depending on, when his birthday lands and all that other stuff. Do you even are you saying like, yeah, let's get LeBron, but is that more of just a respect thing because it's LeBron? That it's going to be his retirement tour. I don't think you're going to get that much out of him, but I'm also saying that as like objectively, because it's just so wild that to me that LeBron is still as good as he is at 37. So to think at 39, 40, I don't know what that necessarily looks like, but I can't question the king.
Yeah, you got to sell out every night for a whole year. That's the motivation, I think, right there. The amount of jerseys that he'll sell, the sellout. I think. I mean,
it'll be similar to Kobe when he went on his goodbye tour. So I'm hoping that LeBron will announce like, yes, this is it, and then really drive that home. But to go back to Dakota's point about Bryce, I think it's interesting that you bring that up of just like, oh, does he hold out until Bryce comes? That might. I've heard some theories that it might be more realistic than we think, because Adam Silver as a commissioner has been taking considerations into bringing back the eligibility for people who are 18 years of age to come into the league. But that wouldn't happen any sooner than 2026. Bryce is currently a freshman, sophomore. I know he's playing on the JV team currently for Sierra Canyon. If he's 18 by 2026, LeBron holds out long enough, is there that opportunity potentially for him to play with not only Bronny but Bryce as well in the league?
Hey, LeBron's amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps on aging like that. But 44 years old, he would be at that point, or 43 or whatever. That's I know Brady did it, and he changed, I guess, the aging of athletics. But I feel like in NFL quarterback is different than an NBA. Like you're running up and down that court all damn day long. I have to think that Father Time's a little better in the NBA than he is in the NFL. Well, outside of the quarterback position, at least.
Right. So
it'll be interesting, to say the least.
Very true.
But any final thoughts, or we good for a wrap up here?
I mean, just hammer down that James Harden and Joel Embiid are easily the best duo in the NBA, but maybe the best duo I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's just incredible what we're watching. Just
better than Kobe and Shaq.
I don't know. Hey, man, it's 2 games. Pump the brakes.
We're getting there. We're looking pretty good.
Hello, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan. What's popping?
Yeah, we'll see. But hey, another game tonight. I can't wait till they wax the floor with the Knicks. The Knicks are always a good team to watch lose. So let's see, baby. Championship tour started 2 games ago. Here we go.
2 games in, it's already in. I will say, I listened to 94 on the radio the other day, and all the people calling in on the hype train. It was just like when the Eagles won that first game, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Super Bowl." I was like, "Relax." But it is exciting. They do look real. They look different. They're way more explosive. They open the floor a lot better now. Harden, I've already seen 2 step backs where he got fouled and made a 4-point play. Love it. So we'll see. Hopefully it keeps going. Like Tim said,
it's going
home debut tonight.
I mean,
for when it was Wednesday, whenever you're listening. But
What was to say? The NBA playoffs is all about ISO scores and guys that can just get you a bucket in those tough moments when the defense really locks in. And we have two of the best ISO scorers in the NBA. Two top five, I would say top five. We have two of the top 5 ISO scores in the NBA, and that is a nice combination to have.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Get Broad Street prepared is all I'm saying.
Grease the poles.
Yeah, baby. All right. I'll talk to you.
All right. Tyrell, thanks for coming on. Tim.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Have fun in your kitchen.
Hey, guys. Thank you.
Peace out.
Peace.